Another leading occultist that many people have never heard of is Karl Maria Willigut. Karl Maria Willigut was a prominent Nazi occultist from Austria and the leading figure of the religion of Erminism, not to be confused with Armanism of Guido von List. Willigut identified Erminism as the true Germanic ancestral religion, claiming that Guido von List's Wotanism and Armanen ruins were parts of a schismatic false religion. He claimed to worship the ancient Germanic god Christ, whom Willigut claimed Christianity later appropriated as their own savior, Christ. Willigut also claimed to be the descendant of an ancient line of god kings, the Armanenschaft, dating back to 228,000 BC, and that he was able to see into the past lives of his ancestors. Very key here to keep in mind for a little bit later. Willigut believed that a burnt-out star, or black sun, which he called Santur, was once the center of our solar system and was still visible in human antiquity. He believed that Santur was the source of power for the ancient Hyperboreans, the far north Aryans. So keep that in mind moving forward. Willigut's wife blamed his occult interests for their destitution and pushed for his committal to a mental hospital. On November 29, 1924, police arrested Willigut and took him to a local mental institution in Austria. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and megalomania and sent to Salzburg Asylum, where he was confined until 1927. After his release from Salzburg in 1932, he abandoned his wife and family and emigrated from Austria to Germany, residing in Munich. He made a name for himself in occult circles throughout Germany and is known to have corresponded with many occultists and admirers, and disciples, including Ernest Rudiger of the Etta Society and members of Rudolf von Sabatendorf's Ordo Novi Templi Occult Society. Willigut's knowledge of occultism eventually garnered him the attention and head of the SS, Heinrich Himmler. Shortly after being introduced to Himmler in September of 1933, Willigut was inducted into the SS. In the spring of 1935, Willigut was transferred to Berlin to serve on Himmler's personal staff. In September of 1936, Willigut was promoted to the rank of SS Brigade Führer. Willigut acted as Heinrich Himmler's personal counselor on magical and religious subjects and eventually became known as Hitler's Rasputin. So he was the mentor in the occult ideologies of Heinrich Himmler. And most people have never heard of him. In Berlin, while working in the office of Karl Wolff, the chief adjutant of the SS, Willigut developed his plans for the rebuilding of the Wewelsburg Castle in Bavaria into an allegorical center of the world. It's not in Bavaria, it's in Westphalia. Willigut contributed significantly as an allegorical center of the world. Willigut contributed significantly to the development of Wewelsburg as the, quote, order castle, a ceremonial center of SS occult practice. Willigut also designed the Totenkampf ring, the Death's Head ring, which Himmler personally awarded to prestigious SS officers. During the Third Reich, at the instigation of Willigut, the Nazi regime instituted an occult purge, a policy of persecution of other occultists, systematically closing down all esoteric organizations which were seen as a direct threat to the Nazi regime due to the knowledge that such groups possessed. So you see, it's just they have to run only their game and no other competition is allowed. So they even shut down all of the other occult and esoteric orders within Nazi Germany. In November 1938, Chief Adjutant Karl Wolff Chief SS Adjutant Karl Wolff visited Villigut's wife and learned of Villigut's earlier involuntary commitment to a mental institution, which proved embarrassing to Heimlich Himmler. Villigut's staff was notified that his, quote, application for retirement on the grounds of age and poor health had been granted in February 1939. So they basically forced his retirement because mental feebleness was not allowed in the Nazi regime. After World War II, Villigut moved to a refugee camp in St. Johann near Velden, Austria, where he had a stroke. He died in Arlsen, Austria on January 3rd, 1946.